Wow. Hey, much love and respect. Pura vida, mi gente. Thank you for taking the time to be here. Appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, appreciate the love, the support, and just being here. Always, motivating me to keep going. Appreciate you guys. Today, we're gonna continue our research into so-called Black Europeans or the whitewashed history they have uh, given us. We are literally, little by little, debunking all of it. We're correcting the false narratives, okay? And again, we're going into the Kirkland files. Shout out to Kirkland88 on Telegrams for the help with the research, okay? And today we're going to begin real quick with this book right here, Anecdotes of Painting in England, with some account of the principal artists and incidental notes on other arts collected by the late Mr. George Virtue, and now digested and published from his original manuscript by Mr. Horace Walpole, the second edition. This is volume 1, okay? So I'll go to page 95 of this book, and it says here, there is a very curious picture. They're going to talk about a painting, right? We're going to read a footnote, but we got to read what the footnote is talking about, right? So it says, there is a very curious picture in the collection of Colonel Sotheby, said to be gone in France by Janet, in which Virtue thinks might be retouched by Holbein, as it was probably painted for his patron, the Duke of Norfolk. The Duke of Norfolk, huh? From whom it descended immediately to the Earl of Arundel, out of whose collection the father of the present possessor purchased it. It represents 3 royal pair dancing in a meadow, with a magnificent building at a distance. They are Henry VIII. All right, we already got the drop. He was a swarthy man, so-called black. And Anne Boleyn as well. This is Queen Elizabeth's mom, guys, right? So as you can see here, this video right here, if you go watch it, it's called Swarthy, Queen Elizabeth I and her alliance with Morocco. So we talk about other stuff in the video, but we show that she is Swarthy. Not only her, but her mom, Anne Boleyn, who they just talking about right here. All these people were actually so-called black or dark complexioned, melanated folks. Okay, go check out this video if you haven't. So again, this painting has Henry VIII, supposedly, and Anne Boleyn, and his sisters Margaret, Queen of Scots, and Mary, Queen of France, with their second husbands, Archibald Douglas and Charles Brandon. All right, as you see here, this asterisk is literally brings us to the footnote. I'm going to read a little bit of the footnote. It says, this was Virtue's opinion. The account in the family calls the man in the middle. So he's saying, actually, that's somebody else's opinion. The footnote is saying that the family says something else. So the account in the family calls the man in the middle the Duke of Norfolk, and him on the right hand, the Duke of Suffolk. Listen to this. So they're saying, the family's saying, no, that's not Henry VIII, and that's the Duke of Norfolk and the Duke of Suffolk. If the tradition that this picture represents only English personages were not so well grounded, I should take it for a French composition. The person in the middle is a black, swarthy man, a so-called black, swarthy man. The man in the middle, they're saying, is the Duke of Norfolk. The Duke of Norfolk, right? So they represent this guy, Thomas Howard, the third Duke of Norfolk. The Duke of Norfolk, because this is the guy that Holbein painted, right? Hans Holbein. Holbein, I mean, that's the guy he painted. Look, does this look like a black, swarthy man to you? This is a whitewash image. Nice try. All right, so yeah, this is who they're talking about. Going back to the book, he was a black, swarthy man with a sharp beard like Francis I. Just like Francis I. Uh-oh. He's black, swarthy man, the Duke of Norfolk, right? I remember they're saying, and the other people are saying, it's not them, it's Henry VIII and somebody else, and Anne Boleyn, and either way, he's a swarthy, whoever it is swarthy, black, swarthy man. Just like Francis I. Just like Francis I, and resembling neither of the Dukes of Norfolk and Suffolk, the former of whom is never drawn with a beard, and the latter always with a short square. One add to this that the figure called Henry VIII, and which certainly has much of his countenance, isn't an obscure corner of the picture and exhibits little more than the face. So he's like, man, I don't think it's them as Norfolk's. It's like controversial, but either way, it's somebody that's a black Swarthy man. Either way, whether it's the other royals or the dukes, it's very important people in Europe, so-called black Europeans, and they literally said that he's black Swarthy like Francis the First. We got another black European, Francis the First. Let's see what Francis the First looks like, right? Francis the First of France. Now, come on, guys. This look like what we would consider today, like those people up in East Eurasia, like Mongolia or Kazakhstan or even Russian. Look at this. Does this look like a black Swarthy man to you? You see how they have whitewashed history. They literally have whitewashed history. Francis the First, right? Was the king of France from 1550 until his death in 1547. He was the son of Charles, Count of Angoulême, and Louis of Savoy. The Savoys, we already got the drop on the Savoys being Swarthy. He succeeded his first cousin, once removed, and father-in-law, Louis XII. All these Swarthy people. The Bourbons, we got those too. Right? You think that's our only source? We got another source that corresponds to Francis the First. It's not just this book. Let's go to it right now. So we're in the book France by M. Guizot and Madame Guizot de Witt, translated by Robert Black in 8 volumes, with a supplementary chapter of recent events by Mayo W. Hazeltine. This is volume 3 of this book. We go to page 33 of this book, and it says here, Francis, says Henry VIII's favorite chronicler, Edward Hall, who was there, primary source, is an amiable prince, proud in bearing, and gay in manner, with a brown complexion. So now, not only was he described as black Swarthy, right, Francis the First, he was also by a primary source described as brown complexion. That's why when I show you this image right here in Wikipedia, does this look like a brown complexion man? You see how they have whitewash history? Brown complexion, right? Francis, large eyes, long nose, thick lips, broad chest, and shoulders, short legs, and big feet. Titian's portrait gives a loftier and more agreeable idea of Francis the First, okay? Francis the First, right? Going back to the other source, says the Duke of Norfolk or whoever that is, Henry VIII or whatever, is a black Swarthy man with a sharp beard like Francis the First. 2 different sources, primary sources, all right? They have whitewashed Francis the First and most likely the Duke of Norfolk. Okay? Are we clear? The 2 references to Francis the First. You can't say brown don't mean brown. You can't say Swarthy don't mean Swarthy because we know what Swarthy means, and black, so-called black, is very obvious. Actually, we're going to show one more source. It says here, the pictorial history of England, being a history of the peoples as well as history of the kingdom, illustrated with several hundred woodcuts, volume 2, New York, Harper and Brother. 1846 is when they made this book. And page 328, it says here, the kings then came out of the tent, when Henry's favorite historian obtained a near view of the person and the clothes, which seemed to him of more importance, of the French monarch. The said Francis says he is a goodly prince, stately of countenance, and merry of cheer, brown-colored. He's brown-colored. We're getting the same source, just from a different perspective, different book. Great eyes, high nose, and big lip. All right, he got big lips, fair-breasted and shouldered, with small legs and long feet. Francis the First. All right, so real quick, now we're going to talk about a little controversy here, or mystery, with this image right here. All right, I'm going to get a close-up so you guys can see the image. All right, this is it right here. I'm just going to show it to you before I say anything. Anything you notice right away, let me know. And it says here in the bottom, His Excellency General Washington. General Washington, huh? And in the bottom right, it says Be Bliff, Pinks, sound like that, right? Pinks, Be Bliff, right? And I just want to show you something right away. if you pay attention, guys, you see that his hands look natural. The color looks natural, and he seems to be a dark complexion person, brown colored, swarthy man. And somehow it looks like he got makeup on, or like they scraped his face, or he put like it's like a paint, like white paint on. Like what's up with this? What is up with this, guys? Right? And then General Washington. So let me just read a book to you real quick about it. Let me just read a book to you real quick about it, right? So just real quick, I want to show you this image screenshot. Kirkland sent. He said about the image, right? The painting says His Excellency General Washington, late 18th century, 20th century edition, artist maker unknown. Listen, you see how it says artist maker unknown? It says British after a painting falsely ascribed to Benjamin Bliff. Falsely? So who painted it? And what happened to it? It looks like somebody tried to scrub his face off. Currently not on view. They're hiding this, guys. Right? Again, artist, maker unknown. British after a painting falsely ascribed to Benjamin Bliff. His name's on it, guys. His name's literally on it. Right? It's a mezzotint. It's what they call these type of images. All right? They did sign to his face. You can see a swarthy man under there. You can see his hands swarthy. Don't worry, I got another example. I'm going to show you he's literally described as swarthy. I got another example, another person that did the same thing. All right, shout out to Kirkland again. We're going to go to this book real quick and read something interesting. It says here, George Washington, an American icon. It says the 18th century graphic portraits. I'm on page 4 of the book real quick. I just want to read this part to you just so that, so you can learn something of what they, this is literally proof that they could have definitely whitewashed images or just recreated, fake images, literally. It says from 1775 through the end of the century, images of Washington appeared as frame prints, as book and magazine illustrations, as almanac and broadside cuts, and as ornamented music sheet titles. Never before in America had a single subject produced such a quantity of visual material over an extended period of time. Children opening their primers and school books were confronted by the American hero. The ubiquitous yearly almanac, second only to the Bible in its importance in every home, everybody had the almanac, right, and their Bible, was often cruelly ornamented with his recognizable portrait. So basically, they were pushing this image of this hero Washington to Americans, right? Through many years, especially in the beginning, right? Especially when they supposedly won their independence, right? So broadside verses and engraved music sheets bore the image of Washington, whether the words applied to him or not. The monthly magazines, spending a large proportion of their budgets on an engraving for each number, often featured the president. Books of official letters, patriotic poems, Revolutionary War histories, biographies, and eulogies began with the requisite frontispiece of Washington. All right, you guys, this was a requirement. Listen, remember how advertisement works, how they engrave images in your in your head, right, in your brain, until you believe it, right? And engravers of all levels of competence and respect for authenticity issued separate portrait prints for framing. It was the first time in America that the likeness of public figure was disseminated so broadly to so varied an audience. Listen, he would have been like the very first influencer. Get it? Like he would have been the most, they were pushing this before internet, before there was even advertisements, that they was pushing this image of Washington. Again, the very first time in America that the likeness of a public figure was disseminated so broadly to so varied an audience. The incalculable influence of these images was extended even further as they were copied on Liverpool pictures, printed cotton textiles, Chinese reverse painting on glass, coins, medals, mirror knobs, tavern signs, and other ornamented crafts and manufactures. Thus, the prince not only played a critical role in the iconography of the man idolizing, right, whitewashing, and his various roles as military leader, statesman, and father of his country, they also became, by 1800, part of the iconography of American visual arts. That's how they started representing American, right? And I'm going to show you that this is literally, they started whitewashing him, literally. That's the image they wanted the world to see of American. But American wasn't there, right? We're talking about copper-colored tribes of America, right? And then we're talking about the founding fathers really being Swarthy too. A lot of them black Europeans. The printed images of Washington therefore warrant the same analysis and discussion that the better-known paintings and sculptures have long received. Now listen to this. This is where it gets deep right here. All right, pay attention. All right, don't get distracted right now. It says the artists who produced Washington prints face two challenges: the need to present a likeness and the urge to create a symbolic context for it. The first of these involved an engraver's choice of which portrait to copy. Since only a few printmakers had the opportunity to make portraits of Washington from life, the others either had to invent fictional likeness. Again, the others either had to invent a fictional likeness. Fictional. Pay attention. Fictional likeness. Or to find a painting, another print, a medal, or some other image to copy. Copy another fake. One easy solution to the problem was to reuse an old copperplate or relief cut block. So, these things don't have color. A lot of these things they don't really show the person's complexion. So they're trying to get it from that. And when they put it on an image, then they start whitewashing it. Fictional likeness, symbolic context, white superiority. Changing the identity. So listen, I'm going to go back. One easy solution to the problem was to reuse an old copperplate or relief cut block, changing the identity of the face. Changing the identity of the face. We're talking about literally Washington too here. Changing the identity of the face. Changing the identity of the face. They left the arms, the hands though. They forgot the hands though, right? Merely by relettering the name, changing the identity of the face. An American cut of the English poet John Dryden, for instance, made in 1773, served as a portrait of a patriot, Samuel Adams. Come on now. Come on, man. You guys, listen. Do you understand what they just said right here? They're saying that there is a supposed painting. Okay, Samuel Adams, right? You guys know who Samuel Adams is, right? So let's see if we can find that. Samuel Adams, 1773 painting, right? Samuel Adams, 73 painting. Maybe it's this one. Yeah. All right, look. Who is this guy? Is that Samuel Adams? Samuel Adams, yeah. So they're telling you that this image right here, right? All right, let me back up. You see that? Looking also like Benjamin Franklin a little bit, the more whitewashed version too. Either way, look at this face. It looks like a lot of people. Anyways, the book is literally snitching, guys. Pay attention. They're saying that this image of Samuel Adams is really, listen, I'm going to read the sentence. Pay attention. An American cut of the English poet John Dryden. That's who it really is. For instance, made in 1773, served as a portrait of patriot Samuel Adams in a primer of 1777. Okay, so 1777. So let's look at that one. Hold on. 1777. Which one is it? And George Washington? Is this one it? No, that's John Hancock. Either way, guys, you understand what they're saying, right? I don't know if I'm able to find it. Is that him right here? They all look the same. All these people look the same. All right. They used an image from 1773 that was from John Dryden, was really John Dryden, right? And they used it for Samuel Adams in a primer 1777 and as George Washington in a primer 1799. All right. Body bag for the illusion. Yo, shout out to Drop, man. All right. All right, guys. Literally, they're literally admitting they made fictional likenesses, right? Changing the identity of the face. And they even got an example of one where John Dryden's image was used for Samuel Adams and George Washington, the same guy. And that's why I always tell you these images, they all look like the same people. Like they have no, like, they all look the same. There's a lot of images of George Washington that look like Bush. They're all the same. It's all the same people. John Dryden plays George Washington. Look, just like the Phelps brothers, right? That actually portrayed Lincoln and his wife and many other historical people. His rival, Lincoln's rival. These are all the Phelps brothers. Just like this, John Dryden played George Washington. Listen, guys, why would they do that? They're admitting. Listen to what they're admitting. That's why anybody practicing cognitive dissonance and trying to say, no, you're reaching. I'm reaching, right? I'm reaching, and you're blind then. You must be blind then, because I see a swarthy man. The hands look natural. It doesn't look like no makeup or paint. Like, look at the face. You can literally see it's white, like it got scratched or put makeup, or they try to whiten him. Literally, as it says, changing the identity of the face. They used a portrait of another guy to portray George Washington. So we can't really believe any of these historic images they gave us. This is what I'm trying to explain to you and show you. Using a print of one person. Listen, using a print of one person to portray another was not uncommon in the 18th century American illustration. Let's reflect on that real quick. Using a print of one person to portray another was not uncommon in 18th century American illustration. Body bag, whitewash history, and if not, an admired practice. They loved doing that. They loved doing that. It was an accepted one. Okay, I don't know what else to say to you guys. Anybody still in doubt? Shout out to Kirkland for the drop. You know, he showed me another page what I'm going to show you, and I went into the book and I just read this part. I'm like, oh, I got to read this part too. Come on, right here is telling you everything, giving you the whole drop, spilling the beans. They telling you straight up here, guys, wake up. They whitewashed a lot of these people. They're using fake images of people. They're using the same person for many, and it was an admired practice, and it was an accepted one. In the 1700s, all right, and 1800s. In the 1800s, they started doing the little Photoshop, right? The Prince of George Washington, however, introduced a new level of authenticity into graphic portraiture. For even the simplest of illustrations, an inaccurate likeness, look, an inaccurate likeness was the exception rather than the rule. An inaccurate likeness was the exception rather than the rule. As Washington's face became better known, yeah, right, authentic portraits was usually expected. Portraits of him in all media were so available that engravers could, with little effort, copy a real image rather than concoct a fictitious one or substitute a false one. Too late, they already had done the damage. Look, in Europe, fictitious likeness of Washington proliferated until the 1780s. Fictitious likeness of Washington, fictitious likeness, fictitious white. They painted people white for status. I'm telling you, a lot of these portraits, they just portraying status. Free white included Moors, remember. Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition. Free white includes Moors, Black Europeans. Fictitious likeness of Washington in Europe proliferated until the 1780s when they gradually were replaced by authentic portraiture. Yeah, sure. Like, you mean when they gradually, everybody got brainwashed with those fictitious likeness, now you're giving them a supposed years later, right? Years later. Now, guys, I want to go to page, this is like page 169 in the notes. This is way in the back of the book. And some notes on what they were talking about, right? It says here, listen to how they even admit that it's weird. They're talking about this one. Now this one right here, because it exists. Now I want to tell you something, guys. Look, when you look for this image, I grabbed the exact description that Kirkland gave me and everything, and this is all that comes up, right? We got these two from these two websites, right? This is the image right here that I have open, right? I just want to show you something. Deliberate. To me is deliberate, right? When I go to this website that has the image, it doesn't open on my end. It never works. It stays here on and on until it doesn't open. None of them. So this image right here doesn't work. Like I had to open it from this little image, right? But I can't access the website. Nobody can. It's blocked. It's blocked, guys. And then there's also this image, and then that's another guy supposedly, General Washington, a whole different one. Like they're making look. Even this one, he looks like like he could be Ethiopian and stuff. Like. Anyways, I'm just showing you that these links don't work. You try to open these things, they never open. It's not. So it's something weird going on with this, right? So I try to look for it in different ways. I put Mezzotint of George Washington by Bliff, and this is what I get. Watch, I'm gonna show you what I get. I get this from the Museum of Fine Arts in Houston, and it's not the same image, guys. And look at the hand, the hidden hand, the Masonic gesture. You see, they're playing with us. The Mason, they playing with us. I'm just showing you guys, right? His Excellency George Washington. What happened to the other Mezzotint, right? Who painted this? Who painted this? Description. All right. From Charles Wilson Pale. Okay. This is the image they use of Washington. This is one of the famous ones that they like to portray. This is the most famous one they like to use, with his hands doing the Masonic gesture, right? We know he was a Freemason, right? Again, we know he is described as a swarthy man. I want to remind you guys, right? So if you search for George Washington Kurimeo, right, on YouTube, this is what you get, you should get, right? So I have a video proving George Washington was described as a dark complexion, so-called black man, Moorish looking, ancestry with Huguenots, Moorish Huguenots, So we showed that. We showed that a lot, and so go check out the video if you haven't. So we're not here trying to debate, but the descriptions in this video matches his hands, his real complexion, dark complexion, right? So check out that video as well. This is from 3 years ago. We broke it down little by little. You guys got to go check out all the sources I got in there and everything. All right. So that's the cover right here. And there's another one I have on George Washington. Okay. So go check those out. So again, going back to the book that we were just reading. Again, it's going to talk about this painting right here, right? An unusual painting, it says. An unusual Mezzotint of Washington, inscribed His Excellency General Washington and B. Bliff Pinks. All right, that's how we know he's talking about this one, because as you guys see in the bottom here, B. Blix, right? Let me just, right? You guys see that in the bottom right here? B. Bliff Pinks, B. Bliff Pinks, right? Swarthy man. They whitewash his face. So it's labeled B. Bliss Pinks. Exists in a couple of Washington collections. This is a real image, guys. But they call it unusual. Or is it the original they were copying, right? And then they whitewashed it. Is that the original? It is a crude Mezzotint depicting a 3/4 length figure resting one arm on a cannon at the right, with other cannon firing away in the background. The face is fictitious, they're saying. The face is fictitious. This image does not fit it in with the Norman Bliff Pale image or with any other American Prince of Washington. So are those the fictitious ones? And this is the original? It could be an imported plate. It could be, now he's guessing, of someone else with an inscription that was changed, probably in this century. Listen to all the crazy stuff they're saying about this image, and you don't even have access to it. They don't have it on display. Where is the original, and why does the face look like it got whitewashed? Where's the original? That looks like a swarthy man under there. Look at the hands, guys. Don't be fooled. Look at the hands. It even look like a so-called black man's hand. Look at the fingers and everything. Look right here. That's the one with the canyon, you know? That's it. Be Blinth. One in the background. Cannon's firing in the background right here. That's them right. That's it right here. They're trying to write it off. You see how they have to mention it and say an unusual. The face is, yeah, definitely the face. We agree. The face, something happened to it. Look at that. The face is fictitious. Yeah, they did something to the face for sure. He said it could be an imported plate of someone else with an inscription that was changed, probably in this century. Probably. Now you're making up a whole conjecture because you don't want it to be Washington. But we already know, again, go watch the video, guys, that he was a so-called black man. We got the sources. We got the primary sources describing him. Go watch the video. All right? Is it clear? Do you see what's going on, guys? Do you see what is going on? They're hiding this, and they even made a whole controversial, crazy story. Nobody knows who the painter is, even though it says B. Blinks, literally Benjamin Bliff. They said Benjamin wouldn't paint him Swarthy, so it must not be him. They're saying they don't know the artist. They're saying it's fake. But they have it in their color. Where is it today? They're hiding it. All right. And how do I know that they're doing that to Washington? First, we already know he was a black man, but there's another example. There's a whole other example, guys. I'm going to show you how crazy it is. Watch. Before I show you another example, something before I got to mention before is that this painting is attributed to another Samuel Bliff. Another Bliff, I mean. It's not Benjamin Bliff, B. Bliff, but a Samuel Bliff. So this might be even fake people. This might be fake people they're creating as painters. They might be, like how they, what's it called? That other channels showing you how they in Wikipedia, they just be putting anything. They just creating names. Bliff, Bliff, Bliff. Who's Benjamin? Look, I'm going to show you there's Benjamin Bliff. So this is in the American Art Institute website. It says here, artist Benjamin Bliff. As you guys see, B. Bliff, right? B. Bliff, right? B. Bliff, Benjamin Bliff is not the same as Samuel. It's not the same. It's not the same as Samuel Bliff. So this is a whole other person that they try to give me in Google. They gave me the wrong one. See, His Excellency George, they named it the same thing. It's like they're trying to replace the other one, right? So Benjamin Bliff is a real painter. Look at whitewash too. Look at that fake image. This is what I'm saying. They probably used somebody else. Come on, man. Dr. Joseph attributed Benjamin Bliff. Look at that whitewash Beavis and Butthead drawing. That's a drawing. That's not a real person. When you see black folks from the same time period, 17th century, you see a lot of good detail, wrinkles. You see real features, real human features, not Beavis and Butthead drawings, Nickelodeon drawings. All right, so let's continue real quick. All right, guys, so this is the other example. Watch. It's the same exact thing they're doing with another person. And this time we actually, we have sources for Washington too. We have sources for this guy too being described as Swarthy or so-called black. First of all, let's just look at the image right here real quick. I want to show you. Look at the face. They did the same thing to the face, as you guys can see. They kind of bleached it out or scratched it out or whitened it. Like, why would somebody go out with this in his face? Why would somebody paint themselves, their hands brown? Look at the hands. That's his real complexion. Those ain't gloves. That's his real hands, right? You can see that that's not even a color of pale. That's like nobody's that color. That looks gray. Literally gray. That's what you get when you mix black and white. You get gray, right? Gray. Oh, man. So that's his complexion. And this is the guy. It says the Honorable Charles Lee, Esquire. So the Honorable Charles Lee, Esquire, right? As you guys can see, his face had bleached out too. Just like George Washington's, it's the same type of painting, meso tint. It might be from the same artist. Maybe they're hiding the artist too. Probably a Swarthy guy too. They created these fake painters, all these people named Bliffs. Now the whole Bliff family painted every iconography in America, right? Huh. What a coincidence that they all got the Bliff last name, but they're not related. Same time period. Paintings, right? That's why you gotta ask questions. So now we're gonna go to a source again. You see, right? The hand is brown complexion. Look at his face. They did something to the face, guys. They did something to the face. Let's go see what he's described like in primary sources. It says here, in Hostile Red, this is a romance of the Monmouth campaign and other descriptions by Joseph Alexander Altschuler, who is also the author of Encircling Camps, The Son of Saratoga, Before the Dawn, etc. All right, 1904. We go to page 314 of this book. It says here, "You will find him among the trees," he said, pointing to a small wood. "Under the boughs of the largest tree, a fire was burning, and over it swung a camp kettle. Several men sitting on logs in front of the fire were talking earnestly, and now and then looking at a map. The one who held the map was large and straight-shouldered, and I knew the figure to be that of the general-in-chief. As I approached, I recognized too the swarthy face, so-called black, his dark complexion face, right, his dark face, the dark face of Charles Lee. Charles Lee, the foreigner, a foreigner who came to us with such an air of superior wisdom and whom we put in high place, but whom the real soldiers already hated. Then I recognized Wayne with his trim figure and fine frank eyes, Green, the silent Rhode Islander who afterward became so great in others. All right, Charles Lee, the Honorable Charles Lee, as you guys can see, so-called black. He was Swarthy, foreigner, Swarthy, so-called black. That's why when we look at this image and we see that it's not a swarthy face and they try to bleach him out some way, and look at his swarthy hands, right? You can see that he was a swarthy man, a foreigner, black European, and they try to whitewash him. They try to do something to his face, as you guys can see. All right? Is it very clear, right? We got two examples. We showed two examples. See what they're doing, right? They even admitted they were creating fictional images and copying the same person and making them to be different people. We read that today. All right? It should be clear to you what's happening. And just so you guys can see, again, Wikipedia, you Google him, he's been whitewashed. This does not look like a swarthy face at all. A so-called black man, right? And you saw the painting, this looks nothing like that drawing we just showed. His face, that's two different people, right? Again, he's foreign, as it says. He was a British-born American Army officer who served as general of the Continental Army during the American Revolutionary War, okay? These were black folks, guys. Black folks. Now, I'm going to go back to the same book we just came from where he is described as Swarthy, Charles Lee, because it has some other person described as Swarthy too. And I'm going to show you what he looks like supposedly first. Now we're going to read about Sir William Howe, or William Howe, 5th Viscount Howe. And again, this is the drawings they have. These generic drawings. Let's look like even AI could do these right now, right? This is supposed to be him. And again, this is General William Howe, Viscount, was a British Army officer and politician who rose to become Commander-in-Chief America during the American War of Independence. Howe was one of the three brothers who had distinguished military careers, right? In historiography of the American War, he is usually referred to as Sir William Howe, to distinguish him from his brother Richard, okay? So we're talking about Sir William Howe, and let me show you what Sir William Howe is described like in that other book. Back in the book, page 121, says here with Commander-in-Chief, it says Hessian soldiers in those days, even ordinary, had but few manners, but when in liquor, none at all. They seemed to presume, too, upon the widely reported fact that Sir William Howe was fast losing credit with his government and might be supplanted at any time. They were accusing even violent in their claims, and the red flush appeared more than once upon the swarthy skin, not just face, but skin, swarthy, so-called black. We already know what swarthy means. We've broken it down using numerous educational scholarly sources and dictionaries, etymological definitions. To understand swarthy is another way they were using for the word black back in the day. The swarthy skin, so-called black, of Sir William's face. Sir Williams, he was a black man, black European. I wonder how he could restrain his anger, but he was essentially self-restrained. And though he was their commander, he did not reply to them in kind, all right? Sir William, swarthy skin. You guys see that? And again, all these people fighting on the American Revolutionary War, these are your founding fathers, black folks. That's what I've been trying to tell you. On page 167, Sir William Howe is also Being described as swarthy, as sees here, his swarthy face, this placard of paper, whatever it may be, is the most unexampled impertinence. He said the red flushed into his swarthy face. I think that is intended as a personal insult to me. All right, swarthy face. Sir William was swarthy. On another page, page 175, it says here the deep red flushed Sir William's swarthy face again. Again, swarthy face again. My amazement at Walfo's presumption increased, but I remembered the case of the English General Prescott, who had been kidnapped in Rhode Island by the daring American captain Barton. Swarthy, so swarthy. They have been whitewashed, these people. All right, so moving on, guys. I want to check out this person right here, right? Interesting story. It's funny. It says here, this is Margarita Ludi. You know, a whitewash image, of course. I'm going to show you. Whitewashed. La Donna Velata, the pearl, adoring her hair by allude to the name of Raphael's mistress and model. So Raphael's mistress and model, that's the subject of what we're going to read right now. Confirming what we're about to read, that this is the person they're talking about, right? So we are going to see how she got whitewashed. Watch. A lot. Her straight curl exemplifies the studied carelessness, all right? So she's supposed to be a model, right? From this guy, Raphael. But I was his mistress as well, right? She lived, it says, in the 1500s, right? She lived. So let's go to this couple sources real quick. So we're in the book Letters from Italy, describing the manners, customs, antiquities, paintings, etc. of that country. And thus the years is very old, right? 1500s, right? The primary source. You know, they're talking about To a Friend Residing in France by the English woman. This is volume 3, okay? And this is specifically from 1776, as you guys can see this book, but it's talking about the 1500s, okay? Now on page 60 of this book, all right? I'm going to show you guys. It says here, a portrait by Raffaello, right? There you go, Raffaello, of his favorite mistress, his mistress, for whom he died. She is of a brown complexion. He died because of her. Listen, she's a brown complexion. Brown complexion. Brown, does this look like a brown complexion person? And now look what everything else they're saying. This is why it doesn't match this person. Look what they're saying. It's saying, and if at all, handsome. Meaning she's not handsome. To my mind, one of the most disagreeable beauties I ever saw. So he's saying she's ugly. She's not beautiful. She's not attractive. That's what he's saying. How's she a model anyway? She's brown complexion and not attractive. Watch what it says in Wikipedia. It says the total opposite, right? Her face is of a vulgar contour. Ugh, he vulgar. Like he's like, ew, he don't like her at all. A sharp chin, strong lines with features lean and hard. Her countenance stupid and insensible. You see how they're talking about her? It's funny how they always talk about like black folks in a bad way, even in these older books, right? So she's brown complexion, right? We're talking about the mistress of Raffaello, right? It says the name of Raphael's mistress and model, right? Margarita Ludi is brown complexion in reality, it says here, right? But we got another source. Another source. Watch how she is described in this source. This should clear up all doubts. So we're in the book, The Antiquities and Present State of Stamford and St. Martin, including Burghley. So we're in the book, The Antiquities of Stamford and St. Martin, compiled chiefly from the annals of the Reverend Francis Peck, with notes, to which is added their present state, including Burghley by W. Harrod. This is volume 2. This is from 1785, guys. This is from another one from the 1700s, okay? So it doesn't matter what Wikipedia in 2025 is showing you. The primary sources are going to tell you something else. And look at this one right here. This one is so convincing. We're on page 499 of this book. And it says here, Domenico Sampieri, afterwards called Domenicino, was born at Bologna in Italy. He had a better taste for women than Raphael. Oh, he actually had good taste, he's saying. Because Raphael had an ugly, remember, they They said she was vulgar, she wasn't handsome. They said she was ugly, right? For the mistress of the latter, meaning because of Raphael's mistress, painted by himself, has not, according to Richardson, elegant features. She's not pretty. Her hair and eyes very black, and of a dark, fulling complexion, like a blackamoor. Like a blackamoor. You see that? Blackamoor. Dark, fulling complexion, like a blackamoor. So that brown complexion from the other book, you see? Describing her as brown complexion, and this book saying she's a blackamoor, okay, and she's not pretty. They're all saying she's not pretty and she's a blackamoor, right? That's what they're saying. We're talking about Margarita Ludi, right, who's been whitewashed. Suspense calls him one of the most exact masters, and as much to be admired for his justness and correctness as any modern painter, excepting Raphael. He was a curious observer of nature and a great master in expressing the passions. At times, says Webb, he may be ranked with Raphael, but at others he is little superior to Giotto. Okay, we're talking about Raphael, the famous painter here, right? Michelangelo, Raphael, Leonardo, right? Ninja Turtles. Anyways, you see Margarita, a blackamoor, and brown complexion. Does this look like a blackamoor to you guys? Does this look like brown complexion? They're not talking about pale skin. They're not talking about light skin. And they're saying she's pretty. Now look what it says here. It's totally the opposite. Listen to what it says. It says the baker's daughter was the mistress and model of Raphael. So we already got the primary sources. We're talking about the same person who's been described as a blackamoor and brown complexion and ugly. It says the story of their love has become the archetypical artist-model relationship of Western tradition. You see that? So a famous celebrity hooking up with a model, they were the first famous people to do that. You guys hear that? They were the first. Yet little is known of her life. Little is known of her life. Of her, Flaubert wrote in his dictionary of received ideas for Fornarina, she was a beautiful woman. That is all you need to know. So look at it. First of all, the primary source says she was ugly, right? She wasn't attractive. And now this guy's they got a white image of this lady, which is definitely not her. They whitewashed her. Now they're going with the opposite of what the primary source is saying. She's beautiful. That is all you need to know. You don't need to know that she was actually a blackamoor or Swarthy, so-called black European. Okay? Black European. Can you guys believe that, how they switched it up? Look, dark, full in complexion like a blackamoor. Brown complexion. All right? More and more black Europeans who've been whitewashed. You guys see? If we keep researching this, shout out to Kirkland. If we keep going into all these, we'll start finding that it's all of them. How many more do I have to show you guys, huh? How many more? More black European. All right. This is for the dismount now. I mean, after seeing this, guys, you should I don't know what else we have to show for you guys to understand. Now, look at this without me saying anything. Is that a white person or is that a swarthy man? So-called black man. Huh? Does that look like a pale skin, so-called white man to you? Be honest, right? Use your senses, use your eyes, don't be blind. All right? This is a famous historical painting of somebody famous in history. I'm going to show you who that is. Again, shout out to Kirkland. Now, I want to show you guys that under this, hold up. There's a Alamy. This is the Alamy stock they have. And under the name, if you guys can see, there's like a little inscription down here, right? It tells you who this is, right? So this is a close-up of it right here. It's hard to see. As you guys see, it's like in Russian. It's like literally in Russian, right? So let's get a little background. Let's get a little story behind this. You guys are gonna see how man, this debunks all their hijack, right? Now hold on. It says here, talking to Kirkland, right? Kirkland says this appears to be an official museum label, identifying the sitter as Alexei Petrovich, the son of Peter the Great of Russia. The son of Peter the Great, the famous historical Peter the Great, which there's a hijack little bit with Peter the Great. He might be a duplicate and phantom of somebody else too, related to Genghis Khan, probably Genghis Khan, Georgi Danilovich, the real, uh, hey, we're going to get to all that eventually. But this is supposed to be his son. So what does that tell you about Peter the Great of Russia, huh? He's probably Swarthy too. So this is the inscription, what it says here in Russian. And when you translate that, it says unknown artist. And anybody that speaks this language, Greek or Russian, whatever it is, you can verify, right? It says portrait of Tsarevich Alexei Petrovich, early 18th centuries from the 1700s. I read it's located at the Vladimir Suzdal Museum Reserve. I emailed them to confirm, so hopefully they respond. Guys, this was back in July, or I don't know when he did this, June or July, but and he actually did email them, guys. And guess what? They responded. This is when he, confirmed to me. He says, Vladimir Suzdal Museum, Reserve of History, Architecture, and Art emailed me back. This is like weeks later, guys. Trust me, days later, weeks later. He said they emailed him back, confirming this painting is indeed Tsarevich Alexei Petrovich, son of Peter the Great. They confirmed, the museum, guys. They confirmed. They're not saying, no, that's a Blackamoor. No, that's St. Maurice. They're not adding no African Moorish invader. That's what they're no. This is Peter the Great's son, Tsarevich Alexei Petrovich, okay? A black man. They confirmed it. They confirmed that his scientific passport was compiled by museum researchers and confirmed that it was brought from Siberia by merchant Rusakov. Guys, so here is the actual email. I wanted you guys to see it. This is the email he received. All right, look, Kirkland Legacy. Look, they responded to him, guys. This is real. They responded to him. This is why Kirkland gets mad props. He knows how to do real good research. He's actually contacting people and giving them, hey, what's up with this painting right here? It says you guys have it. Is this his son? Is this correct? And they said yes. They confirmed it. We're going to show you the translation, okay? So here is the full translation. It says, here's the full English translation of the official letter from the Vladimir Suzdal Museum regarding the portrait of Tsarevich Alexei Petrovich, Ministry of Culture of Russia Federation. It says, Federal State Budgetary Institution of Culture, Vladimir Suzdal Museum, Reserve of History, Architecture, and Art. Okay, that's what you're seeing here, guys. This is what we're seeing here on the top. And then his email, right? His email, and then the date, and then it says, Dear applicant, after reviewing your written request, we inform you that indeed, in the painting collection of the Vladimir Suzdal Museum Reserve, there is a Parsun, early portrait titled Tsarevich Alexei Petrovich, which with inventory number B3169. A scientific passport has been compiled for this artwork by museum researchers. The history of the painting's acquisition, as you stated, is correct. As for the transfer of the digital image and scientific documentation, the procedure requires a contract to be signed. The contract must specify the purpose of using the image, the type of publication title. So he was probably asking for a copy, right? And they were like, oh, they want to know why he wants it. They said, you need this and this, a title, a circulation, and if in digital format, the website where the material will be published, it must be also include the personal data of the individual with whom the contract is made. The price is determined in accordance with the official price list, which is published on the museum's website. For this reason, we kindly ask you to provide additional information so that a potential contract can be arranged. One more important note, all payments must be made in rubles by bank transfer according to an invoice issued by the museum, especially relevant if you are a foreign citizen. So that's the local currency, rubles, right? So if you have any questions, and that was scientific secretary of the museum. I don't know what it says there. TV Menshikova, okay? That's who responded to him. TV Menshikova. This is real, guys. They confirmed. This is Peter the Great son, guys. This is Peter the Great son, guys. A black man, a so-called black man. Black Europeans everywhere. They whitewash history, guys. Body bag for the illusion. Shout out to Drop, man. Con Drop, man. Much love to Kirkland. Shout out to Kirkland for doing such a good job and helping us dig through the history of Europe and its black Europeans, because this is all time consuming, while it allows me to have time to be able to do many different topics and also include the black European studies and not leave it out too long, because Kirkland's always working hard. He's always sharing things with me. And we got a lot more to show, guys. Trust me, there's still a lot of stuff that he's already shared with me that I haven't shown you guys. So we're continuing again, more likely with more Kirkland files. And it's very funny. Kirkland was showing me how somebody was asking AI, what is the Kirkland files? Like there's some mystery vault or some crazy hidden. Man, it's just Kirkland doing a great job research. He knows how to research. He knows what a primary source is. He knows how to hold people accountable. He knows how to contact people and be logical with them so they can tell you the truth or snitch on themselves. Like he's kind of like me with the research. So, and I appreciate that he's focusing on Europe and Black Europeans because that saves us so much time. We got to go through so many books, right? Appreciate Kirkland, man. Appreciate you. We all respect and got much love for you, Kirkland 88 on Telegram. All right. Appreciate you, brother. Again, Black Europeans is a real thing. All right. It's not just Black Indians, but it's also Black Europeans, Black colonists. Yeah, came to America that look like this. That look like this. A Black European that look like this, right? So if anybody in your family, don't worry about the hair too much, right? But anybody in your family or you or anybody look like this and he's considered Black or African American, then who's to say where the Black is so really coming from if you haven't done the genealogy? Because it could be coming from Europe too, not just the Indian part. All right. And that's where we're going to end it today, guys. Want to keep these videos a little short so people can actually take the time to watch them, right? Appreciate you guys sticking around all the way to the end today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Again, more Black European research is going to be added to the Black European playlist I got. Make sure to check out my Black European playlist. I just created it 2 days ago because I have all this research on Black Europeans. I never had a playlist. So here it is, guys. Here it is. Take advantage. 179. Now with today is going to be 179 episodes. That's a lot of research. That's a lot of information. That's a lot of years of hard work here, guys. Let's not let it go to sleep. Let's not let it get dusty like the books. Like all these books got forgotten. Let's not let these videos get forgotten, guys. Let's allow the people to be able to find these. Help me share and like the videos, guys, so the algorithms can, share the playlist, watch it yourself, remind yourself so you can understand, apply this real knowledge to your genealogy as well. Apply it. It's all there. Look at all the videos I got. The Sephardic Jews, the Huguenots, the Danes, Israelites in Europe. We got so much. Saxons, Anglos, the Danes, all that. Hamilton, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln. Who's the Black Dutch? Come on now, the ancient and modern Britons. Come on, King Charles, Swarthy, Ludovic Sorfa, all of them in here in one playlist, guys. So I hope you enjoy it. Appreciate you guys again. Thanks for tuning in. Much love and respect. Pura vida, mi gente. Hawaii.